There's something magical about the era when Dinah Shore's voice sang out through the airwaves, cheerfully inviting America to see the USA in your Chevrolet. It wasn't just a slogan or a catchy jingle. It became a promise of freedom, optimism, and the open road. The 1950s and early 1960s were an automotive golden age when chrome gleamed under the sunlight and when the American dream could be driven home on four wheels. Among the glittering lineup of Chevrolets that defined this spirit, few models captured it more completely than the Impala. Stylish, confident, and built for a family that loved to travel, the Impala was more than just transportation. It was an experience, an emotional connection between machine and memory. By 1962, Chevrolet was riding high on a wave of success that would make history books decades later. The Impala nameplate had become a symbol of middle-class success and aspirational motoring, and that year's models represented a refinement of both engineering and style. Over 700,000 Americans, families, young couples, and proud first-time buyers walked into dealerships that year and drove away in gleaming new Impalas. Each one left the factory with the same confidence and promise that had been sung about for years. That the road was open, the country was vast, and the car beneath them was ready to take them anywhere. This particular 1962 Chevrolet Impala Sport Coupe, located today in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, tells a story that feels like a microcosm of American motoring history. It's a car that's seen life, love, and change. Owned by the same family for 45 years, it has lived through generations, serving as a daily driver, a weekend cruiser, and finally a project awaiting rebirth. Its odometer now shows 130,000 miles, but what those miles represent is far more valuable than numbers. They tell the story of a family, of memories made, and of a classic machine that refuses to be forgotten. The seller admits the car needs restoration. After nearly half a century in the family, time has done what time always does. It has left marks, both visible and invisible. The Impala sits today with its black paint faded and its body showing small patches of rust, the kind that speaks of seasons endured rather than neglect. The windshield bears a crack, a reminder of years when the car might have been parked outside under a Midwestern sky that offered both sunshine and snow. The fuel tank has long since given up the ghost, replaced temporarily by a simple gas can to keep the engine running. Yet despite all of that, the Impala still fires up, still runs, still breathes. There's something poetic about that. A mechanical heart that keeps beating long after most would have stopped trying. Under the hood lies one of Chevrolet's great small-block V8s, the 327 cubic inch turbofire engine. Introduced in 1962 as an optional upgrade, it quickly earned a reputation for being both powerful and reliable. Producing at least 250 horsepower with its 4-barrel carburetor, the 327 gave the Impala a new level of refinement and muscle that would later define the golden age of American performance. This particular engine remains original to the car but has been rebuilt, with about 30,000 miles since the work was done. It's paired to a later model TH350 automatic transmission, replacing the original turboglide that once came from the factory. That change may not please the purists, but it makes sense for a car that's lived a long, practical life. After all, cars like this weren't built to be museum pieces, they were built to be driven. And this Impala was driven. The story begins in 1980, when the seller's grandfather purchased the car, back when these Chevrolets were still considered used cars rather than collectibles. He likely saw in it something worth keeping, a beautiful coupe with potential, a solid machine with character. Over the decades, the car passed from one family member to another, serving faithfully along the way. It was restored once, back in 1997, and for a while it looked new again, the kind of car that could roll proudly down Main Street during the 4th of July parade. But time moves on, priorities shift, and one day a car that was once a centerpiece becomes a side project. Eventually, the Impala found itself parked more often than driven, waiting patiently for someone to bring it back to life again. There's a certain romance in that. Old cars, especially family-owned classics like this one, become living heirlooms. They outlast the people who bought them new, carry their fingerprints in the steering wheel, their laughter in the seats, their stories in every scratch of the dashboard. This Impala may not be perfect now, but its imperfections are exactly what make it so compelling. A restoration won't just bring back the shine, it will revive decades of history. Visually, the 1962 Impala was an evolution of the clean, space-age lines that defined early 60s American cars. Chevrolet refined the design from the 1961 model year, sharpening the body contours, lowering the roofline slightly, and giving the car a more tailored, athletic stance. The rear end featured the now iconic triple taillights on each side, a design cue that would become a hallmark of the Impala nameplate. The Sport Coupe variant, with its bubble-top roofline and sweeping C-pillars, was particularly graceful, an ideal blend of luxury and sportiness. Even as it sits today, a bit tired and waiting for attention, the car still wears that shape proudly. The long hood and broad shoulders convey quiet power, while the chrome trim hints at a time when style mattered as much as performance. With a fresh coat of black paint and polished brightwork, this Chevy would once again exude the elegance that made the Impala such a success in its day. And let's not forget, this example left the factory with air conditioning, a relatively rare and desirable option for 1962. The belt may be off now, and the system likely hasn't blown cold in decades, but just having that option tag adds another layer of interest for anyone considering a full restoration. The interior, restored during that late 90s refresh, has aged better than the exterior. The seats still show the craftsmanship and comfort Chevrolet was known for. The dash, with its wide speedometer and simple yet tasteful design, reminds you of a time before touchscreens and plastic buttons. There's a tactile pleasure to these interiors, the click of the switchgear, the feel of the metal trim, the smell of old vinyl that tells you this car was built during a time when machines had soul. Some old receipts accompany the car, the kind that spark nostalgia more than anything else. One, in particular, mentions 12 gallons of gas for under $4, a reminder of a simpler era when driving across town didn't require a second mortgage. Those little details bring a smile to anyone who's ever fallen in love with the past. You can almost imagine the car back then, cruising down a Wisconsin highway, the AM radio humming, the windows rolled down, and the world feeling wide open. Mechanically, the car still shows promise. The seller notes that the engine runs smoothly when fed from a gas can, suggesting that the heart of this machine is still strong. A new fuel tank and line, some fresh fluids, and a bit of patience could bring it back to operational condition in short order. The electrical system has some gremlins to sort out, again not unusual for a car of this age, but the fundamentals are there. This isn't a rusted-out shell or a hopeless wreck. It's a solid foundation for someone who knows what these cars can become with care and effort. And that's what makes this Impala such an intriguing opportunity. At $7,000 with no bids yet on eBay, it sits at the intersection of affordability and potential. For the right person, someone who loves rolling up their sleeves, getting their hands dirty, and breathing life into old steel, this could be the start of something deeply rewarding. Restoring a car like this isn't just about paint and parts. It's about preservation, about honoring the craftsmanship and culture that built it. Imagine the transformation. Stripping away decades of wear, straightening panels, respraying that long body in deep, glossy black, and watching it come back to life piece by piece. The moment the engine fires up for the first time after a full rebuild, the rumble of that 327 filling the garage, is one of those moments that car enthusiasts live for. That's when you realize it's not just about owning a car. It's about reviving a chapter of American history. The 1962 Impala stands at a fascinating crossroads in Chevrolet's lineage. The excesses of the 1950s had given way to a more modern sense of proportion, yet the performance era of the mid-60s was only just beginning. The 62 combined the best of both worlds, style and substance, luxury and muscle. It was a car you could take to church on Sunday and to the drag strip on Saturday night. With the 327 under the hood, it offered genuine speed for its time without losing the civility that families expected from Chevrolet's flagship. It's easy to see why these cars remain beloved among collectors. They embody a kind of optimism that's hard to find today. Every curve, every piece of chrome, every rumble of the small block V8 feels like a celebration of possibility. Even in its current condition, this particular Impala still carries that energy. Look closely, and you can almost see its past reflected in the dull paint. Weddings, road trips, laughter, and the simple joy of being on the move. Of course, restoring any classic car comes with challenges. It's a process that requires patience, time, and a willingness to face setbacks. But the reward is equally immense. There's nothing quite like seeing an old Chevrolet, one that's been part of a family for nearly half a century, roll down the road again, its chrome shining in the sun, its engine humming proudly. That's not just a restoration, that's resurrection. In a way, this Impala's story mirrors that of so many classic American cars. Born in an age of optimism, enjoyed for decades, put away when life got busy, and now waiting for someone to see its potential again. For 45 years, it's been loved and cared for within one family, and now it's ready for its next chapter. Somewhere out there is a person who will take the torch, who will see not just a tired old Chevy but a piece of rolling history ready to shine once more. For those who grew up with songs like "See the USA in Your Chevrolet," this car is more than just steel and rubber. It's nostalgia made tangible. It's the kind of machine that makes you want to turn off your phone, roll down the windows, and just drive until the gas runs out. It's a reminder of how cars used to make us feel connected, free, alive. So, as it sits there in Manitowoc, quietly waiting for a new owner, this 1962 Impala Sport Coupe represents more than a restoration project. It represents continuity, the unbroken thread between generations of car lovers who understand that the value of a car isn't just measured in dollars, but in memories and meaning. The seller's family has written their chapter. Now it's someone else's turn to take the wheel, to breathe new life into an American icon, and to once again see the USA in your Chevrolet. When you picture it finished, fresh paint glistening, chrome polished to perfection, the 327 rumbling under the hood, you realize this isn't just another classic car. It's a time capsule from a more hopeful age, a reminder that craftsmanship and passion never truly fade. For those who understand the language of tail fins, V8s, and summer highways, this old Impala is whispering one simple truth: the road is calling, and it's time to answer.